Thank you very much indeed. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong, and welcome to Pointless, the quiz show where obvious answers mean nothing and obscure answers mean everything. Let's meet today's players. And first, we welcome back Rob and Kai. Everyone gets 2 chances, of course, to reach the Pointless final. This is your second chance. You were on last time. Rob, remind us how you know each other.
We used to work together. It's a newspaper.
You were news hounds.
Well, sports hounds.
Sports hounds.
Yes, yes.
I mean, as we discovered last time, Rob left the Dorset Echo to be a postman.
Yes. Well, it wasn't exactly my choice to leave, but...
oh, you were sacked?
No, not quite.
Yeah.
How have you filled the gap since Rob left?
We had a day of mourning.
Yeah.
And then after that, just...
A whole day, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I say half a day if you take lunch out.
Rob, do you miss it?
I do. I miss, as you can see, the banter. I miss that.
Any new tactics on the back of last time's performance?
To do better?
Yeah.
OK. There's a maxim for all of us.
Yes.
OK, well, very best of luck, Rob and Kai. Great to have you back on the show. And next, we welcome Janina and Jason. Now, how do you two know each other?
Jason's my dad.
Jason? David Dickinson. I'm sorry, but really? Don't you think? Would you give me that?
Certainly, if any of our 8 people look like David Dickinson, it's Jason, yeah.
Do you get that?
You are not the first.
No, I bet. That must be quite tiresome. I'm really sorry. But
No, it's not tiresome at all. It's really quite enjoyable.
What do you now do with your retirement?
I'm absolutely passionate about fishing.
Freshwater?
Everything from fishing in my local rivers and lakes, through trout fishing, salmon fishing in Scotland, to blue water big game fishing all over the world.
Right. Janina, what do you do?
I'm a freelance caterer.
But for a party, what sort of maximum, the biggest party you've catered for?
I've done about 150.
Wow. Yeah, that's enough pressure, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So, well, food and drink obviously is going to be great for you.
Hopefully.
Splendid. What else would you like to see come up, Jason?
Anything natural history, really.
Natural history.
Yeah.
Good. Janina?
I actually don't mind politics too much.
Gosh, very seldom requested politics.
Well, that's perhaps why I quite like it, because I think the other contestants might not do so well.
Yeah, people don't do terribly well, generally, traditionally, on Pointless. Least of all our 100 people.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially them.
they're not brilliant on politics. Great to have you on the show, Janina and Jason. And next, we welcome Lara and Martin. Now, how do you two know each other?
We helped to run a private dining club in Covent Garden, the West End of London.
Very good indeed.
Yeah.
Now then, Lara, what do you hope is going to come up today? What's going to be your ideal Pointless topic?
Well, apart from working as a waitress, I'm starting to be a singer, classical singer. And I've been training with a soprano for 7 months.
So as an opera soprano,
Yes.
or I see.
And so maybe perhaps some kind of composers, classical music a little bit.
Classical music. Now, Martin, how about you? What's going to be a great topic?
Well, I'm sorry, Janina, but I love politics. So I would love politics to come
Right,
up.
OK, wow. It's going to be... Oh, look, any politics today?
No, not so much.
OK.
Oh, never mind.
Very good. Well, great to have you on the show, Lara and Martin. A warm welcome to you, and
Thank
best of luck. And finally, we've got Scott and Suzanne. Now, how do you two know each other?
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
Very good indeed. Where are you from?
Glasgow.
Glasgow. Scott, what do you do?
I work as a professional development officer for an accountancy board.
And what do you like to get up to when you're not doing that, Scott?
Playing football and like to go out running.
Suzanne, what do you get up to?
If I'm not working, I'm normally at the gym.
And what was your work?
Same company as Scott, but I deal with accountancy students.
Did you meet through work?
No.
Or did you work through knowing each other?
We met at school and then both got jobs working in the same company.
School?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
7 years.
Wow. Anyway, very best of luck, Scott and Suzanne. We'll find out more about all of you throughout the show as it goes along. There's only one person left for me to introduce. People call him the Rain Man. Not because he's clever, because he spends most of his spare time gambling with Tom Cruise. It's my pointless friend. It's Richard.
Hiya. Gambling or gambling?
Gambolling. Leaping about like a newborn lamb. You and Tom.
Me and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Just one returning pair today. It's our record holders, the shortest named pair of contestants we've ever had, Rob and Kai.
Yep.
They were slightly harshly knocked out last time, I thought, so I think they might do rather well today. Should be quite tough to beat, I think. The first round today is a subject no one has ever asked for in the history of Pointless. It's a classic round. No one's ever asked for it. And round 2 is a lovely round as well. Should be fun, the first 2, I think.
Good stuff. Look forward to it. OK, all our questions on Pointless have been put to 100 people before the show. In order to get to the final round and be in with a chance of winning the jackpot, our contestants need to find the obscure answers those 100 people didn't get. So the fewer people of our 100 who knew the answer, the fewer points they will score. Now, what everyone's trying to do, of course, is to find a pointless answer. This is an answer that none of our 100 people knew, and each time that happens, we will add 250 quid to the jackpot. Now, nobody won the jackpot last time, so we add another £1,000 to that. So today's jackpot starts off at £2,000. Right, if everyone's ready, let's play Pointless. OK, in this first round, each of you must give me one answer and you cannot confer with your partner. Whichever pair has the highest score at the end of the round will be eliminated. Try and make sure that's not you. OK, our first category today is famous people. Famous people. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, our question concerns famous prisoners. Famous prisoners. Richard.
Yeah, on each pass we're going to show you 7 descriptions of famous people who've been incarcerated in prison at some point of their lives. All you have to do is tell us who they are, please. Nice obscure answer will score you fewer points. An incorrect answer, as always, is 100 points. It's going to be 14 descriptions in all, 14 jailbirds for you to get at home.
OK, thanks very much. Now then, Rob and Kai, you all drew lots before the show, and today you are going first. So we are looking for these famous prisoners. And we have got the jockey who won the Epsom Derby 9 times. He wrote 3 volumes of a prison diary subtitled Hell, Purgatory and Heaven. Queen of England from 1558 to 1603. Played by Johnny Depp in the 2009 film Public Enemies. Played Jack Bauer in the US TV series 24. Launched the Quit India movement in 1942. The German leader released from Landsberg prison in December 1924. I'll read those all one last time, and here they are. The jockey who won the Epsom Derby 9 times. He wrote 3 volumes of a prison diary entitled Hell, Purgatory and Heaven. The Queen of England from 1558 to 1603. He was played by Johnny Depp in the 2009 film Public Enemies. He played Jack Bauer in the US TV series 24. He launched the Quit India movement in 1942. And the German leader released from Landsberg prison in December 1924. There we are. 7 clues to famous prisoners. Now then, Kai.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Queen of England from 1558 to 1603 and say Elizabeth I.
Elizabeth I, says Kai. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people knew that answer. Elizabeth I. Absolutely right. 46. 46, Richard.
Yes, better safe than sorry. She was incarcerated in the Tower of London in 1554 for non-payment of parking fines.
Jason.
Well, there's 2 I could have a go at. I'm going to take a bit of a risk. I'm going to say, wrote 3 volumes of a prison diary, Jeffrey Archer.
Jeffrey Archer. OK, Jeffrey Archer, says Jason. Let's see if it's right, and if it is, let's see how many people knew that answer. Jeffrey Archer. Yep. Wow, Jason, that's a great answer. Jeffrey Archer scoring you 2. Very well done.
Yeah, good answer, Jason. He was found guilty of perjury and perverting the course of justice. And those 3 different volumes of the diaries were the 3 different prisons he was in, Belmarsh being the first one.
He was actually in one that about 10 miles away from where we live.
Was that Heaven?
The North Sea Camp was Heaven. That's what he described.
The last one.
Have you seen it? Is it Heaven?
I wouldn't call it Heaven, no.
Bit bleak.
Would you say, compared to Belmarsh, it might be
Probably,
Heaven? Yeah.
probably.
Now then, Lara.
The one I knew's been taken, so I'm going to go for launched the Quit India movement in 1942 with Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela, you were saying. Yes. The Quit India movement launched in 1942. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people knew that answer. Unfortunately, that's an incorrect answer, Lara. I'm afraid that means you score the maximum of 100 points. I'm sorry. Suzanne, you are the last person to have this board. You can talk us through the board, if you like.
Not going to be able to do that. I'm probably going to have to go for Kiefer Sutherland, who played Jack Bauer in 24.
Kiefer Sutherland, you are saying. He played Jack Bauer in the US TV series 24. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many people said Kiefer Sutherland. Absolutely right. 35. Not a bad score by any means, Suzanne. 35 for Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, very good answer. Spent 48 days in prison, drunk driving. So let's take a look through the rest of the board. The jockey who won the Epsom Derby.
Lester Piggott.
Lester Piggott, absolutely right. Would have scored you 28. Now let's look at the Quit India one. It's not Nelson Mandela, it's Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi would have scored you 18 points. The German leader released from Landsberg prison.
Well, Hitler, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely right. After he was jailed for the beer hall putsch, would have scored 22. And played by Johnny Depp in the film Public Enemies. Yeah, it's a tricky one. John Dillinger would have scored 4 points. So actually the best answer on the board there, Jason, was Jeffrey Archer, so very well played.
Very well done indeed. Well, we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at those scores. Jason and Janine are looking very strong indeed. Lovely low score there from you, Jason. That was a punt well worth taking. Then we go up to 35, where we find Suzanne and Scott. Up to 46, Kai and Rob. And then up quite substantially to 100, where we find Lara and Martin. Now, Martin, I think you're just the man to find the lowest scoring answer on the next board, which is just as well because you will need it if you're going to stay with us. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, we're going to put 7 more famous prisoners on the board, and here they are. We have got... He played Sherlock Holmes in the 2009 Guy Ritchie film. Elected president of the ANC in 1991 after his release. The crime tsar of Chicago, nicknamed Scarface. He wrote Letter from Birmingham Jail, published in 1963. The Russian author of The Brothers Karamazov. The suffragette who threw herself in front of the King's horse at the 1913 Derby. And the author of The Importance of Being Earnest. I will read all of those one last time. He played Sherlock Holmes in the 2009 Guy Ritchie film. He was elected president of the ANC in 1991 after his release. The crime tsar of Chicago, nicknamed Scarface, wrote the Letter from Birmingham Jail, published in 1963. The Russian author of The Brothers Karamazov. The suffragette who threw herself in front of the King's horse at the 1913 Derby, and the author of The Importance of Being Earnest. Now remember, we are looking for the famous prisoners described by these clues, and obviously you're trying to find the one you think the fewest of our 100 people knew. What are you thinking, Scott?
I think I'm going to play it safe and go with Sherlock Holmes, who plays Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr., says Scott. Robert Downey Jr. Here's your red line. Below that red line, through you go to the next round. Robert Downey Jr. How many people said it? Is it right? Absolutely right. And you're through. Very well done. 25. 25 takes your total up to 60.
Yes, frequently arrested on drugs charges, Robert Downey Jr., and was sentenced to 3 years for parole violations.
Now then, Martin, you have a job to do here.
Indeed, sir. Well, I'm quite sure that Oscar Wilde wrote The Importance of Being Earnest, so I'd like to go for that.
That's the one you're going to go for?
Yes, please.
OK, Oscar Wilde, says Martin. How many of our 100 said Oscar Wilde? Absolutely right. 35. That takes your total up to 135. Richie.
Very well played, Martin. Might have kept yourself in it there. You did what you had to do. Famously imprisoned in a number of jails. The Ballad of Reading Jail, he wrote. Well, he was in Reading Jail, but was also in Pentonville and Holloway, all sorts of places.
Now then, Janina, the good news is you are through whatever happens. You're on 2. Even if you score 100 points, you won't overtake the high score of Martin and Lara. Bearing that in mind, what do you think of the board behind me?
Well, I was actually going to go for the same answer as Martin. But seeing as he's taken that one, I'm going to have a bit of a punt and go for the Russian author. The only one I can think of is Leo Tolstoy.
Leo Tolstoy, you're saying. Jason, not entirely happy with that. No. Let's see if it's right. If it is, let's see how many people said Leo Tolstoy. Bad luck, Janina. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer. Scores you the maximum of 100 points, takes your total up to 102, but it couldn't matter less. You're already through. Richard.
Unlucky, Janina, good guess. But on the plus side, now we know what a disappointed David Dickerson looks like.
Rob, you're on 46. The high scorers are Martin and Lara on 135. If you can score 88 or less, you are through to the next round. What do you think of that board?
There's a couple of obvious ones.
You can talk through the board if you like.
I presume the top one is Nelson Mandela. The nickname Scarface is Al Capone. If I was going to hazard a guess, I would say maybe the Russian author was Dostoevsky. It's the only Russian author I know. The other two I'm not sure about. So, to get through, I'm going to go with crime czar of Chicago, Al Capone.
Al Capone, you are saying. Here's your red line. Al Capone has to get you below that red line. Let's see if it does. Is it right? How many people said Al Capone for Scarface? It's right, and it's done it for you. 32. 32 takes your total up to 78.
Well played, Rob. Al Capone famously jailed for tax evasion and ended his time inside in Alcatraz. Let's take a look at the rest of the board. Actually, you went through them rather well, Rob. Elected president of the ANC, quite right, was Nelson Mandela. And the author of Brothers Karamazov. Did you say Karamazov?
I did.
Is that
Karamazov?
Right,
no, that must be right. Karamazov. Of course it is that. Karamazov. Karamazov in a bag.
I know, but you're usually very good at literature, so I assumed I was being thick.
I've never said it out loud, I think.
The Mandela would have scored you 47. The Russian author of Brothers Karamazov is Dostoevsky. He would have scored you 11. Now, those other two are the best answers there. The suffragette, do you know her? It's Emily Davison. 6 points. Now, the other one, it's a tricky one. Wrote a letter from Birmingham jail, published in 1963. I bet some people at home are struggling with that one. Any idea? The key to guessing this is it's not Birmingham in the Midlands. It's Birmingham in the deep south. And the answer is Martin Luther King. 3 points. So very well done if you worked that out.
There we are. Thanks very much. So at the end of our first round, the pair who will be leaving us, the pair with the highest score, I'm afraid it's Martin and Lara.
Thank you for having us.
Not at all. Well, you'll be back.
Yes,
oh,
we will.
yes.
Oh, yes, we
You'll
will.
be back. And Lara, you'll have a chance to atone.
Yes.
We'll look forward to seeing you again next time, Martin and Lara. Meanwhile, thanks very much for playing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Good luck.
But for the remaining three pairs, it's now time for round two. Now, obviously, only two pairs can make it through to the head-to-head, so one of the pairs in front of me now will be leaving us at the end of this round. Our category for round two today is words. Words. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first, who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what the question is. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many words ending in AMP as they could. AMP, Richard.
We're looking for any word which has its own entry in the Oxford Dictionary of English, which ends AMP. As always, no proper nouns or hyphenated words, and we won't accept the word amp itself.
OK, thanks very much, Richard. Now then, Rob, I want a lovely obscure word ending in AMP.
There's a few things I can think of. Unfortunately, nothing completely obscure. So I'm going to play reasonably safe to start off with and say cramp.
OK, cramp, says Rob. Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said cramp. $20 for cramp. Richard.
Very tough being on that first podium in these word rounds, so very well done. Yes, a painful involuntary contraction of a muscle or muscles. Cramp.
Janina.
I think I better play it fairly safe on this round, so I'm going to say scamp.
Scamp. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 said scamp. Very well done. 7 for scamp.
Yeah, someone who's mischievous in a likeable way, a scamp. Like a young David Dickinson. A little scamp.
Scamp. Now then, Scott.
Tramp.
Tramp.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking to me for a moment.
No, I don't forgot who I was.
Tramp.
Yes.
Tramp. Let's see if tramp's right. And if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said tramp. Absolutely right. 23. 23 for tramp.
Yeah, big answer. We've heard some common words so far. There's all sorts of words on this list, as always with these word rounds. Awful lot more words than you think out there.
Thank you, Richard. Well, we're halfway through the round. Let's take a look at the scores. Janina and Jason. Lovely low score there from Janina, looking very strong on 7. Then we go up quite substantially to 20, where Rob and Kai are to be found, and then up to 23, Scott and Suzanne. OK, we're going to come back down the line. Can the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, so we're looking for words ending in AMP. Suzanne, what have you got?
I think I'm probably going to have to go with clamp.
Clamp. Let's see how many people said clamp. $17. 17 takes your total up to 40.
There's a brace or a clasp for holding something together, a clamp. And again, we're still surfing some of the higher scorers here.
OK, now then, Jason, let's have a nice low-scoring word, maybe even a pointless one from you.
Headlamp.
Headlamp. Here's your red line, Jason, quite low. Let's see if headlamp gets you below that. Absolutely right. Oh, very well done, Jason. That's exactly what we wanted from you. A low score, they don't get lower than that. That's a pointless answer. It adds 250 quid to today's jackpot, takes the total up to £2,250. It scores you nothing and it leaves your total at an already impressive 7. Richard.
Very well played, Jason. That's 2 good rounds in a row. The powerful light on the front of a vehicle.
Kai. The high scorers are Scott and Suzanne on 40. You're on 20, which means a score of 19 or less will be enough to see you through to the head-to-head.
Obvious ones like stamp, lamp. I'm wondering whether table lamp. I don't, but...
What are we thinking, Kai?
I'm going to have to go with table lamp.
Table lamp, you are saying. Table lamp. There's your red line. If you can get below that red line with table lamp, you are through to the next round. Is it correct? How many people said table lamp? Bad luck, Kai. I'm afraid that's an incorrect answer, which scores you the maximum of 100 points. Takes your total up to 120.
Sorry, Kai, table lamp, 2 words in the Oxford Dictionary of English. Side lamp would have been acceptable, would have been a pointless answer as well. But let's take a look at some of the other pointless answers here, see if you've got any of these at home. Backstamp is a pointless answer. Blow lamp, which is our sort of a British way of saying blowtorch, or can be. Decamp, which is how a drag artist takes off her makeup. There's headlamp. Overdamp, which is a term in physics rather than a meteorological one. Spot lamp would have been a pointless answer. Sun lamp, and there you are, Suzanne, you said clamp. If you'd said unclamp, would have been pointless, would have added £250 to the jackpot. And underdamp, which is the opposite of overdamp, which we just had. Kai, if you'd had said stamp, which was one of the obvious answers you were suggesting, would have scored 17 points. Let's take a look at the top answers, though, the worst answers you could have given. Ramp with 36. Damp, 38. What do you think's top?
Is it lamp?
Yeah, and lamp right at the top there on 44.
Thanks very much, Richard. So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score, I'm afraid, Kai and Rob. Kai, I feel your pain. I know exactly what it's like. You were trying to come up with a low-scoring answer, and you already had one there with stamp.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I just...
You didn't know
thought
that.
it would be it would be one of the high ones, to be honest. Yeah.
There's some other low ones. Vamp is a low scorer. Revamp would have been a low scorer. Champ was a low scorer. All of these were in the single figures.
Yeah. You played very well indeed. Lovely low score in the last round. I'm sorry, this is where we have to say goodbye, but Kai and Rob, thanks so much for playing. Great contestants, thank you. But for the remaining two pairs, things are about to get even more exciting now as we enter the head-to-head. Now, congratulations, Scott and Suzanne, Janina and Jason. You are now only one round away from the final and a chance to play for our jackpot, which currently stands at £2,250. So you're now going to go head-to-head. The first pair to win 2 questions will be playing for that jackpot. The great news is, from here on in, you can confer. So then, Scott and Suzanne, brilliant, consistent low scoring from you has seen you through to the head-to-head. Were you expecting to end up here?
No.
Very, very strong play. And Janina and Jason, we still haven't had food and drink?
No.
Or antiques for you? Very best of luck to both pairs. Let's play the head-to-head. Here is your first question, and it concerns animals named after other animals. Animals named after other animals,
Yeah.
Richard.
We're going to show you 5 photographs now of animals, all of whose names also contain the name of another animal in them. Can you give us the most obscure of these 5, please?
OK, thank you very much. Let's reveal our 5 animals named after other animals. And here they are. We have got A, blank fish. B, blank lemur. C, blank seal. Poor seal, no one says ah when that comes up. D, blank butterfly. And E, blank rat.
That's not getting any arse from anyone.
No. OK, so there we are. Animals named after other animals. Now, Scott and Suzanne, you've played best throughout the show so far, so you get to go first.
We're going to say E is a mole rat.
E is a
Mole rat.
mole rat. A mole rat. OK, Janina and Jason, you can talk us through the rest of the board if you like.
Okay. Right, well, I'm going to... there's a couple on there we know.
You can say which ones they are, just say which
Okay.
one you want to submit at the end.
Well, we think A is probably a parrotfish. C is probably elephant seal.
It is.
And D is a peacock butterfly.
It is.
And I think we're going to go with...
Do you think parrotfish?
Yeah.
Or do you think people know that?
No. A.
I would have gone for mole rat. I mean, I would have
That's
gone for mole rat.
That's gone.
I don't know what the lemur is.
Shall we go for A? Dad? Shall we go for A?
Go for A.
I think we'll go for A.
Yeah, she says A. She says A.
Parrotfish.
Parrotfish. We have mole rat and we have parrotfish. Scott and Suzanne have said that E is a mole rat. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said mole rat. Absolutely right. It's a good answer. Down here, 29. Scott, you look pained by that.
It's a bit high, I think.
You'd be more comfortable if it was a bit lower.
Yeah, but 20. Yeah,
You think parrotfish is going to go lower than that?
I think it might.
Jason doesn't think so. Jason thinks mole rat would have been the best answer. OK, let's find out. Parrotfish. How many people said that? Is it right? It is right. 29 is what it's got to beat. You've done it! Wow, 6. 6 for parrotfish beats 29 for mole rat. So after the first question, Janina and Jason, you are up 1-0. Richard.
2 good answers there, but parrotfish a particularly good answer. That's Dad's all over for you, isn't it? Jason was certain, wasn't he, that mole rat was the better answer. Janina calmly, she knew full well that parrotfish was better. But Jason, hey, you had to see it, didn't you?
I know so much about fishing. I just think everybody else does.
Don't tell me you catch parrotfish.
No, I caught a parrotfish, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, by mistake.
Oh.
They're the only fish that talk, aren't they?
Yes.
take a look at the rest of the board. Let's fill it in. Let's have a look at B for a moment. That is, it's the best answer on the board, it's a mouse lemur. Mouse lemur, 2 points that would have scored you, so that would have been a terrific answer to get. You were right to avoid C. You're right that it is the elephant seal, but it's actually the biggest scorer on the board with 41 points. And D, you got right as well. It's the peacock butterfly. It also would have won you the point, because that would have scored you 14. Very well done if you got all 5 of those, and well done both teams on that one.
Thanks very much, Richard. OK, so here comes your second question. Scott and Suzanne, you have to win this question to stay in the game. It concerns New Zealand. New Zealand, Richard.
Yeah, we're simply going to give you 5 clues to facts about the country of New Zealand. Can you give us the most obscure answer?
OK, here come our 5 clues to facts about New Zealand, and we've got the nickname of the rugby union team, the capital city, the highest mountain, New Zealand-born Booker Prize winner, and the Peter Jackson cinema trilogy that was filmed there. I'll read those all one last time. The nickname of the rugby union team, the capital city, the highest mountain, the New Zealand-born Booker Prize winner, and the Peter Jackson cinema trilogy that was filmed there. So there we are, 5 clues to facts about New Zealand. And obviously you're looking for the one that you think the fewest of our 100 people knew. Now, Janina and Jason, you go first this time.
I think I know the first 2.
Right, what's the first one? What's the first
The first one is the All Blacks. And the second one, I think, is it Wellington?
Yeah.
Right, we're going to go for capital city, and we think it's Wellington.
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 Wellington, say Jason and Janina for the capital city. Scott and Suzanne, talk us through the board.
I think the nickname of the rugby union team is the All Blacks. Not sure about Highest Mountain, not sure about the New Zealand-born Booker Prize winner. The Peter Jackson cinema trilogy, we're going to go for that, and I think it's the Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings. OK, Scott and Suzanne, you've got to hope that's going to win the point for you, because that will keep you in the game. Janina and Jason have said Wellington, the capital of New Zealand. Let's see if that's right, and if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people knew that. Wellington. Absolutely right. 30. Is that going to be enough to win the point for you, I wonder? Scott and Suzanne have said The Lord of the Rings is the Peter Jackson-directed trilogy that was filmed in New Zealand. Let's see if Lord of the Rings is right. Let's see how many people said it. You have to win this point to stay in the game. It's right. Will it go down below 30? Ooh, bad luck. 52 for The Lord of the Rings. Which means, Janina and Jason, you are through to the final after only 2 questions. 2-0. Richard.
Yes, Lord of the Rings, nominated for 30 Oscars, that trilogy, won 17 of them, including 11 out of 11 for the last part, The Return of the King. But it's very, very well played. Again, you guys, 2-0. Let's fill in the rest of the board. You're right about the rugby union team. It was the All Blacks. They scored 65 points, though. Do you know the highest mountain on New Zealand? It's quite a low score, 7 points. Well done if you said Mount Cook. Mount Cook. And the Booker Prize winner is a pointless answer. She's only ever written 1 novel. It won the 1985 Booker Prize. It was The Bone People by Kerry Hume. Kerry Hume, pointless answer, so very well done, anybody who got that at home.
Thanks very much, Richard. So the losing pair at the end of our head-to-head round, I'm afraid, Scott and Suzanne. Very, very well played, though. Extremely good head-to-head. I'm sorry, we have to say goodbye to you now, but we'll see you again next time, Scott and Suzanne. Look forward to that very much. Cheers. But for Janina and Jason, it's now time for our pointless final. Well, congratulations, Janina and Jason. You've seen off all the competition and you have won our coveted pointless trophy. You now have a chance to win our pointless jackpot, and at the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at £2,250. Well, very, very low scoring. And that head-to-head, you just made that look so easy. You kicked them off with the capital of New Zealand, what we might call a Wellington boot. Now, the rules are very simple. To win that money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer. We've had 1 pointless answer on the show today, and that was yours, Jason, the brilliant headlamp. That was your answer. It's not the nickname I'm conferring.
No more nicknames.
Yes, the brilliant headlamp. There we are. You only need to find one more pointless answer now, and you'll go home with that money. First, though, you've got to choose a category, and you have a choice of 5 options. They are Formula One, international relations, American music stars, novelists, television.
Television, I think, is going to be the easiest.
You think?
I do.
Okay.
Unless you want to take international relations.
No.
I think television.
Yeah.
We either know or we don't. Come see, come saw. Television.
Television it is, OK. There we are. Let's find out what the question is. Here it comes. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many David Croft TV shows as they could. Richard.
Yeah, we're looking for any BBC TV series for which David Croft was credited as a writer, either by himself or in partnership. So long as he's written at least 1 episode, we will accept that series. Very best of luck.
OK, you now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers. And all you need to win that £2,250 for just one of those answers to be pointless. I'm going to remind you to speak up while you're deliberating. Are you ready?
Excuse me, I'm excited.
Are you ready? I think I know the answer to this
We're
one.
ready.
Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. There they are. Your time starts now.
There's Hello, Hello. Heidi High. Dad's Army. It Ain't Half Hot Mum. The sequel to... Oh, what was it called?
What,
Where
Dad?
they play butlers. I can't remember what it's called.
Fry and Laurie, you mean?
No.
It Ain't Half Hot Mum's quite a
It
good
Ain't
one.
Half Hot Mum.
Did they do a
Heidi
sequel?
High. Yeah, it's the 2 guys that... No. Oh, some of them were in it. I can't remember what it was
Quick,
called.
Dad,
You
time.
Called Sir, something like that?
We'll say that. You called, sir.
Well, definitely Heidi High, Hello, Hello, Dad's Army, It Ain't Half Hot Mum, the one with Mrs. What's-Her-Face in Slocum.
Oh, Are You Being Served?
Are You Being Served? And the sequel to that, which I can't remember either.
10 seconds left.
The sequel to Are You Being Served?
I'm Free.
It's not called
It was.
Was it?
Yep.
OK, that's your time up.
So what do you want then?
We were looking for David Croft sitcoms. I now need 3 answers.
We're going
It
to
Ain't
go...
Half Hot Mum.
Yeah. Are You Being Served? And I'm Free.
Are You Being Served? And I'm Free.
Are You Being Served? And I'm Free. Now, of those 3, which do you think is your best shot at a pointless answer?
I'm Free.
If I'm Free's right, it's certainly the best one.
OK, I'm Free we put last.
Yeah.
Which do you want to put first? Your least likely.
Are You Being Served?
Are You Being Served? So, Are You Being Served? Ain't Half Hot Mum. I'm Free. OK, let's put them up on the board, and here they are. We have got Are You Being Served? It Ain't Half Hot Mum, and I'm Free. So remember, you only have to find one pointless answer to win our jackpot of £2,250. Janina, what would you do with 2,250 quid?
We'd probably just have a big family holiday. I think, family, cousins, my sister,
Very
all
nice.
go away.
Jason, anything else?
It would buy me 2.5 days big game fishing.
With all the family, of course.
No.
There we are. Well, very, very best of luck. Let's see your first answer. Are you being served? Let's see if that's right. And if it is, let's see how many of our 100 people said, are you being served? This for £2,250. Good luck. It's right. Down it goes. Are you being served? Now, if this goes all the way down to 0, you leave here immediately with that £2,250. 20. A very, very popular sitcom. Internationally, the Americans loved Are You Being Served? It wasn't a pointless answer. We're not surprised. Your next answer, though, is It Ain't Half Hot Mum. I think we're going to see a substantial fall-off from 20, I think, for It Ain't Half Hot Mum. We're looking for David Croft sitcoms. This has to be right. It has to be pointless for you to win that jackpot. £2,250. Let's see It Ain't Half Hot Mum. How many people said it? Absolutely right. So Are You Being Served took us all the way down to 20. It Ain't Half Hot Mum. Let's see where this is going to stop. If this takes you down to 0, 23. So wrong. I said I was going to go down much further. It went up by 3. OK, well, there we are. However, now then, Janina, you pounced on this last answer, I'm free. Are you sure this is a correct answer?
No, but if there was going to be a sequel, if there was going to be a sequel of Are You Being Served, it's called I'm Free, I'm sure.
It's not called Grace Brothers or something. But I remembered the other one now. It's You Rang My Lord, and that will be pointless.
Oops, I'm going to be in trouble.
OK, you only have one more chance to win today's jackpot. It's all hanging on I'm free. I'm free. Has to be right, has to be pointless. If it's both of those things, you leave here with £2,250. We're looking for David Croft sitcoms. Let's see how many of our 100 people said I'm free, your last shot at the jackpot. No, bad luck.
You said it was right. I just thought you knew.
Bad.
Terrific.
Oh.
Oh dear.
I'm so sorry. You didn't manage to find that all-important pointless answer, so I'm afraid you don't win today's jackpot of £2,250, which rolls over onto the next show. You've been brilliant contestants, and you do, of course, get to take home our fabulous pointless trophy, so very well done. Now, here's the painful bit. Richard.
You're quite right. So you rang my lord, but would have scored you 7 points.
Oh, right.
So don't worry too much.
Worries.
And there was a follow-up to Are You Being Served? It wasn't I'm Free, it was Grace and Favour. But even that would have scored you 2 points. I have to say, of the 5 categories you could have chosen, funnily enough, this was the toughest because I think he's so well loved and so well known. There's very few pointless answers here. So when all the big scorers are there, so you can imagine Dad's Army, Heidi High, Hello, Hello, you know, there's lots of great things. There's only 3 pointless answers on the whole list. So it's a very, very tough category to pick. Anybody at home who got one of these, a special pat on the back. Come Back Mrs. Noah, which was essentially Molly Sugden in space. Molly Sugden gets blasted off to space and they try and bring her back from 77 and 78. I know, and it wasn't one of his bigger hits. This guy had talent to burn. The Eggheads, which was a sitcom from the 60s about 4 students sharing a flat. And The Virgin Fellas, which is Hugh Lloyd set in Australia. There's the only pointless answers there, so very tough category. Sometimes happens like that when you pick these things, but very well done if you've got any of those at home.
Well, unfortunately, did you know any of those?
No, never heard of.
I've already forgotten one of them. Mrs. Noah. Come Back, Mrs. Noah. Yeah, well, that's a relief, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking, Dr. Beeching. That was another one.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Dr. Beeching would have scored you 2 points.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to you, Janina and Jason. It's been brilliant having you on the show. Absolutely fantastic couple. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nobody's won our jackpot today, so it rolls over, which means on the next show we will be playing for £3,250. Join us next time to see if someone can win it. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.